Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, Trap and Roll Soap Company. You can get the new Grappling is Not a Crime t-shirt at www.trapandrollsoap.com. You can also check out our other sponsors, Tape Armor, as well as Rolls Gear, and you can find all of our old episodes at bjjshow.com. I'm Rob, and former guest Trevor Hayes, I think he has the record for the most guest appearances on the show, joined Randy and I on a live episode of the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. That's something we're going to try to do a little bit more, is do them on Facebook, because it seems to get a lot of interaction with you guys. We definitely like having that type of interaction with our fans and listeners. And we talked about his stand-up comedy, training during this lockdown, and just kind of how we were heathens in our youth. And it is kind of weird to think about how me and Trevor have known each other for about 16 years now. So I really do hope you guys enjoy this episode, and don't forget to rate and review us, and subscribe to us, tell your friends, and we hope you guys enjoy this episode. Oh yeah, here we go. UFC tap out. Perfect. That definitely fucking fits us.
I forgot my tap out shirt.
I got one floating around here somewhere.
I've been going over a lot of UFC history with Talia, and because she never watched fighting before we started to date, and she went, "Hey, what's tap out?" And I just went, "Fuck, what are you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, she is actually a good human being. That's why she doesn't know what tap out is."
Doesn't know what tap out is. I mean, you know, they did a lot for the sport with like.
They were the first underground apparel company to make it big, man. Like that was one of the first rags to riches for MMA.
That is true. Oh shit! Boom, done. And boom. Done. There you go. Shit, man. We didn't have a fucking audio going, but now we do, so we're good.
It was sad what happened to Charles Lewis.
Yeah. Car accident.
Yeah, the fucking the company kind of collapsed upon itself after that, though, because I think he was one.
He was one of a kind. Like, yeah, a company like that has to be run by a psychopath.
Yeah.
That's true. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah, we're live, man.
Oh, wow.
We're doing it live right now. So, I'm Rob.
I'm Randy.
And we got Trevor Hayes with us. And Trevor Hayes, like we talked about last week, is the guest with the most appearances on the show. So we're more than happy to have him back here to
3 or 4?
No, I thought it was more than that, honestly. I thought it was like 5 or 6.
Man, I don't know. You get me post sparring, I don't know what we talk about. So
this is the first time having him on with me as a co-host, though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Usually I pay to have conversations like this with
Trevor. Aw.
Trevor Hayes' private lessons well worth it. That's why. So enjoy that. So
I appreciate the shout out.
Yeah. So how are things going out there, man? I know me and Randy have talked the subject of training during the lockdown to death.
I've got some blue thing popping up from okay. It was like a support thing popped up. And I was like, if this resets, I'm just gonna throw it. Sorry. Okay, it's back. Sorry, question. I don't technology. Like this is the first time I used a laptop for like anything since matching fights, maybe. I don't know.
Oh shit.
Sorry, what was the question? Yeah.
So the question was, me and Randy have like beat the subject to death because every week we kind of just get together and we're depressed because we haven't rolled with anybody. Like I'm fucking chasing after my wife and my 2 dogs, trying to like grapple them at this point. But you know, for you, what have you been doing to kind of work during this lockdown to keep your training going for teaching others? Because you're one of the, if not, I'll be so bold to say the best Muay Thai coach in North Carolina right now, well known.
Oh, thank you.
Well, so.
I'm just more well known. There's other guys like Josh Brackett, Chris Clodfelter. Those guys are outstanding, but I'm just more well known. I'm just out there more. But no, to keep myself busy. The girl I'm dating, Talia, she is training boxing and now Muay Thai as well. So it's been fun. I haven't been training. I put on the quarantine 20, and she has abs now. So I've been staying busy training her. She's, just coming along. She bought an Everlast reflex bag. So I've been moving around with that. I hate sitting still. I like to at least just shadow box every day. I will be doing a shadow boxing seminar next week on Instagram Live through Knuckle Up or something like that. So I'll be telling people to grab a few things around the house just to get ready to get the gyms back in gear. So get your shadow boxing right. So, but man, shadow boxing is my main thing. You can shadow box anywhere. So as long as I can get up, use some resistance bands, go for a walk, shadow box, I feel okay. I did finally spar 2 days ago. Broke some rules, did some sparring. 15 rounds.
Oh,
with
no.
My friend used to be ranked like number 12 in the world at bantamweight, so we got like some rounds in, and it's the best my head's felt ever since. I mean, we know how it feels when the crazy sets in, and for me, man, if I'm not doing this, it gets bad. And so to get that sparring out, yeah. But mainly just shadow boxing, dug some holes, cut down some trees. That's about it. Yeah, nothing too exciting. Maybe spend more time training Talia.
Hey, speaking of shadow boxing, you put up a video, I think it was last week, where you're doing some shadow boxing and you were using, I kept hearing clicking.
Yeah, the clicks. Yeah, the old school grip trainers.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I'm going to go over in the shadow boxing seminar. So many people try to shadow box with, like, you've trained with me now. I'm always like, open your fucking hands, relax a bit.
Yeah.
And so when you have those clickers, you're resting to be open so you can keep active loose head movement, and you have to know when to catch your punch at the end of it. So that little click right there, click, open, release. And if you bring it back and it's still a fist, you messed up. If you bring it back, you can roll and come back. So it just helps you know when you're catching your punches. So if you need to throw a tighter shot, boom, catch that punch sooner. Longer shot, catch that punch longer. Yeah.
I'm
go ahead, catch that punch. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you can use like 1 pound weights. I think I showed you like that catching the weight drill.
Yeah.
And then, or just use some like salt and pepper shakers.
I like it, man. That's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Hey, I've had this. I'm a weird dude, man. I just spent a lot of time training by myself when I was younger.
Well, dude, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
like nobody can fucking really just talk shit if it works. Like I know some people were talking. Me especially, talking about touch butt in the park with fucking Conor McGregor. And I mean, there is a place for it, but I mean that's like the extreme side of that, though. You know what I mean?
Well, with Conor McGregor being Conor McGregor, that's just a rare athlete. He's such an explosive one-line fighter, learning how to move left and right by doing goofy yoga, like that just worked for him. It wouldn't work for me or any of you guys. Like salsa dancing would work for me, not touch butt in the park. So
I got a question too on, you mentioned also that you've been doing the reflex bag. What are your pros, cons, or opinions about the differences between that and a double end bag?
I feel like the reflex bag is easier just to have in the house. It's just hard to hang a double end bag. I mean, you can try and put it up in a doorway, but it's hard to find that much tension in such a small space.
Right.
I guess if you have a garage, if you have a high enough ceiling to create tension for a bungee, absolutely. But it's just about setup and space. Like that reflex bag, you can work in a smaller space in the living room with it, and it's easy to put away. Just that double end bag, for as small as it is, you need more room than you think to really get the most out of it. So
yeah, I just put one up in my garage gym, and so I've been.
Oh yeah, but that's great. Yeah.
I've been messing with different tensions too, because I noticed that there's kind of a different benefit, right? So if you make it really tight, it's not going to come back at you as much, where it's going to require as much movement, head movement, stuff like that. But your accuracy is going to be challenged on your punches and your speed. But then if I allow a little bit of a little bit of elasticity to it, right? Then not too much, because then it's too slow and all that.
Right.
But on that middle ground, I found that it helps me be more mindful of footwork and angle.
Yeah, you get used to when you throw your punch, you have to pull your punch back and sometimes get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
You have to stay ahead of it a bit more. Yeah.
Which, if you remember working with me, one of my issues was sometimes when I was in the pocket, I would get a little bit too.
You would stay in the pocket. And you would go in the pocket, and you would go. Yes.
Yeah. So I've been working on that, Trevor. I've been working on that.
Yeah, because I saw the video. My wife did give me one when I was in Arizona. It did work out well in the back, like, because we had this little concrete patio outside.
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
I stopped using the heavy bag because it was attached to the rafter, and I kind of saw the window out back vibrating every time I'd hit it. So I'm like, well, we're only renting because we're only here for a couple of years, so I don't want to fucking destroy the poor window. But I had a really good time because, like, you could do like the long one where it's just attached to the top, or then like get them all loose together. Like it's
yeah.
great for movement. Really, I really enjoy movement. I kind of wish I had another one, but I do have a double end bag because a friend got me that.
Oh, nice.
Because apparently when I was out drinking with him and he's like, what's your favorite thing to do? And I'm like, I like the double end bag a lot because I feel like Chuck Norris from what movie was it? It wasn't the Octagon, was it? Where he's like doing that shitty whispering monologue. He's talking about like trying to find the guy who killed his friend. And he's hitting the double end bag. I'm like, that looks dope. And then finally I used one. I'm like, yeah,
we've based way too many decisions in our lives off of like Chuck Norris moments. Like that's our friendship. Yeah. Like that time we took a gang of trucks and we took over a town from that murdered my brother. Remember that?
Oh, I do remember that.
Convoy, remember that? Oh,
yeah.
Chuck Norris. Yeah, no one's ever seen Convoy.
And you kicked that dude in the face wearing super tight jeans. That was fucking amazing.
Oh man, but no, I really emphasize to people when training at home, a heavy bag is great for pictures and if you know how to already hit a bag. Like if you're brand new and you have just a heavy bag, you're gonna throw a lot of your technique out the window. Why? Because we're dumb animals on our own, man. Like you have to learn how to train on your own. So stuff like that reflex bag, the double end bag, when you learn how to just snap your punches and move around, then you learn you learn more to do on a heavy bag. If you just hit a heavy bag hard, you're losing the point. You can work volume, you can work movement, level changes, body headshots, changing tempos. But I always encourage people reflex bags, double end bags. Man, that's the way to do it at home. Proper shadow boxing at home.
I can
but
tell
a heavy bag is great to get after like a year and a half or 2 years. Like if you're having fight camps and you can't make it to the gym, get a heavy bag at home. You know how to use it for them, you know?
I can definitely tell you too that that's one thing that I've noticed on heavy bag work, even with myself. And I've been doing stuff for years, but it is easy to get caught in that trap of just wanting to crush the heavy bag as hard as you can.
Oh,
and
yeah.
before you know it, all your weight's over your front foot and you're just not, you're throwing short punches instead of full range. So what I've been doing is I've been alternating between rounds on the double end bag to rounds on the heavy bag, then to shadow boxing and kind of bouncing around because it keeps you honest.
It does.
And so what I found too is if I just play with the heavy bag in a sense of like the mentality, right? So I go in there with a purpose. So what I'll do is I'll take maybe half the round or even do a shorter full round. And I'll say, okay, this round I want to work on, maybe let's say throwing my combination, throwing that hook, but using that hook as a way to cut my angle to throw my round kick. Yeah. I'll bring in, different purposes, like different goals that I want to kind of rep out. And I mix it into my combination work. And like you said, not getting caught up just crushing it, but mixing in, maybe I throw a 3-hit combo that's light, and on that fourth shot, I really crush it, or I cut the angle out, get hard off of that angle,
It's good to recognize, like, when you know how to catch your punch on a heavy bag and you know how to move around it, you can recognize, like, oh, wait, how come my hip feels more loaded over here? And you learn, like, oh, you can exit out the right way, because so many people get stuck, hit one spot, come back to home. When you know how to hit properly on a heavy bag, you can hit and you'll feel your weight catch, and you go, oh, I can actually step back to my jab from this and get the bag like fold back and stuff. But it takes time to do that. You can't learn it off the bat.
And then going from punches to kicks too, because a lot of times
you also started at Gleason's gym. I mean, so you grew up like they taught you how to hit a bag.
Right.
Yeah, like you learned the difference early on.
But I mean, it's throwing punches and then going to kicks too, because I feel like a lot of times if you're too caught up in the game of throwing hard punches and then you try to transition to a kick.
That was a big thing we used to work on, I think. Yeah, you were so stuck. Yeah, you're just trying to really throw everything hard. And I was like, man, your hard punch is taken away from hard kicks. Well, that's the problem, because you got more behind your kick.
Yeah. So now I've learned that I can use my footwork and my range on those punches to set up a better kick. And so it's been rewarding. I think, it sucks not being able to train with people, but I think it's given me the opportunity to focus on some of my weaknesses, things that you and I discussed when you were coaching me about those things.
When you can move or you're ready to move, you can think less. So, and that's where like the proper shadow boxing and reflex work at home helps. If you just hit a heavy bag at home, you're not moving anywhere, so you forget to think.
Right.
If you're forced to move, you're always able to think, or if you need to make space, you can make space and think properly instead of throw hard to try and think hard. No.
I also love how the double end bag makes you think about head position on your punches too. Mixing defense into your offense. Because if you're just on that straight line and I just throw that jab right up the middle and don't move my head, that bag's gonna come back and bust me my face.
Oh yeah, I still a lot of times I'll warm up with the double end bag. Rob will attest. I need to get hit on the nose first before I figure out where the person is at. And So with a double in bag, if I snap it, I'll keep my head back on, but I make it a point to get my hard blocking back before I get my head movement going. Because if you start moving your head too much, that's when you zagged when you should have zigged.
Well, if you can tell, I've been hitting the nose a few times too, so I feel your pain on that.
Yeah, mine's just an accessory right now.
Unfortunate. I've just been cursed with being ugly from the start.
Stop.
So
You are a handsome beast, man. What you talking about?
Go on, man. You guys may have to buy me dinner at this
You're
point.
so sophisticated. I love like the grown man beard you have coming in.
I fucked this up though, man. This is a restart from a few weeks ago. I had like a huge one.
I wish I had.
Yeah.
The what?
You look like the sensei I wish I had as a kid.
Well, if I get the longer mustache, it'd be all right. But I'm just kind of.
You man, chew it, bro.
But you can charge a premium for mustache rides because you got like the full beard going on.
Yeah, he has to charge for beard rides.
The full one, dude. Yeah, no, I think the most depressed I was in most recent history was I got out of the shower and looked at my beard and I was like, fuck, dude, I look like a homeless guy. I need to fix this shit and trim it up because like you still gotta be kind of professional.
Yeah.
So I had a pair of clippers for it. I'm like, fuck, man, like how's this gonna work? And like I just fucking took it all the way down to the skin. I'm like, well, fucking restarting, aren't we? So
I got a baby face. I can't if I go like 2 weeks, I just look like I'm just a dirty person. I just get patches of hair. It's not good. Like the little bit of Latin heritage I got just came to a scraggly beard. I'm like, fuck, really, man? Like I tan well, then I just grow pube bushes like in patches.
Just random places. Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. Yeah.
Well, I may not like it, but this is what peak male beard looks like. But, yeah.
Whenever my department lifts the ban, I plan on trying to grow one. It usually just comes in like here, and that's it.
That's all you need.
It doesn't come in here.
That's all you need. You need the stash and the aviators.
Yeah, but the problem is that I can grow this, but they call that a goatee at work and not a beard, so they don't allow it.
Oh, that's dumb.
When in reality, a goatee is technically just the chin. That's why it's a goatee, because it's like a goat.
Hell, Satan.
Oh God! Why don't you just shave this and just go for the Hollywood Hulk Hogan? Just like dye the fucking the freaking stubble and pull people.
I'm getting close to doing the quarantine haircut. I think I'm not sure yet.
I want to see you do a mullet.
We haven't seen that before, honestly.
No, Talia wasn't shocked when I told her I've had a mullet a few times, and I told her, like, man, I might hold out for a post-quarantine mullet, just like do like a hard part a little tight and just keep like the sorrow of quarantine in the back. Like, hey, quarantine's behind me. It's still attached to the back of my head. That's how
I would like that, actually. You did like a super clean
like front and then
That'd be awesome. I was gonna tell you should do like a mohawk mullet if that's really a thing.
No, that's too over the top. Like if this quarantine went to full like apocalypse with a Thunderdome, I would go like mullet hawk. But I'm in Raleigh at a boxing gym, so I gotta have like business mullet.
A respectable mullet, like a accepted mullet. North Carolina mullet.
Like exactly. Like this is the millennial mullet for Raleigh. That's what I'm going to make a statement for it. Yep. The working man's mullet.
Well, what do they call that thing they're doing with the trucks now? The Carolina squat?
Yeah. It'll be the Carolina squat of haircuts.
Fuck, man.
It'll be a Carolina squat on an Escalade. How does that sound? Yeah.
That works.
A very used Escalade with a Carolina squat. That's the haircut.
So I was thinking about that too. I was like,
because when we just go with this conversation?
I don't know, man. Because I thought back to when he was talking about when you said like the really used Escalade or whatever, and I was like, man, fucking. I remember when you had the giant bullhorns on. What was it, the Volkswagen you had, or?
That it was a Mitsubishi Sigma.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the old like luxury Mitsubishi, and I put the bullhorns on that. I had the bullhorns on Chuck the Truck also.
That's right. Well, I was thinking, it was like, shit, man. How many years ago was that? That's at least 8 at this point.
Sure, yeah. People don't get surprised when they see my old photos. So.
True. So, because I was thinking too, I was like, Trevor's been doing this a while out here, coaching, teaching. So, and also this is a good segue to get your dog in here.
Yeah.
So when you did a Chance Muay Thai, you started doing that. What kind of?
That was a big like haha. like to the people I was working for, because it was literally just like a couple 100 feet away from the original spot I was teaching at. Then I went, I'm literally going to walk next door and see how much it is for me to teach there. Like, you won't do it. And I was like, there you go. So,
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
It was nice.
No balls.
Sorry, what was the question for Chance?
Oh, no. So like how scary was it kind of starting your own thing at that point?
That was rough, because I went from a position where I was at, where I built a Muay Thai program from scratch, from the ground up, and it was built with like my experience, and I was making good money, and it was just I was very proud of my program, and I was glad to make a good income. Like, I was like, and you guys know, in this career, it's like you spend most of your life kind of just, it's a humble income is what you make doing this. And at Forge, I was like, man, I'm really making good money, and I built this myself. Then it came to the point that the owner like didn't care, because he had too much money. And I was like, oh yeah, you're like everything I hate about people that have money, and you just don't care anymore. And when I left, it was scary, but I've always believed in, if you put the time in, the money follows. You know, the money isn't there every day, but if you keep putting the time in, it's gonna be there. So leaving and doing Chance, it was terrifying. It made my stomach turn. At the same time, I had a falling out with a person I was going to do an affiliation with. And it was just, I think like the girl I was dating broke up with me, and I got in a car accident also, but like, whatever. Like, those weren't bad. It was a week, okay? It was a week. And no, scary. It was terrifying, but as soon as I taught my first class, it felt good. And then I was like, okay, I like this, because it was just like, everyone that knows me knows I just like to teach for what it is. And that's it. Chance just put me in that direction of, I know that I can put the hours in to make the money out of it. You know, too many people get so focused on making a lot of money too soon. So they focus on the wrong thing, which is a good product. So with Chance Muay Thai, I realized I got to refocus on what makes me a good instructor. And that's just like bread and bones, quality instruction, quality classes. And it put me in that direction of like, no, like it was reassuring that like, I know what I need to do now. So it was scary, but as soon as I like taught my first class, and I was like, yeah, this is what I have to do. So I went from like fear to, oh, this is what Trevor does, like really quick. Because if like Forge Fitness felt like I wasn't being me, I was having to do more office work, and I was having to get people to cover my classes so I could sign people up. And I'm like, I don't do this shit. Like, I can, doesn't mean I have to. So it was a good thing, man. Terrifying, fucking scary. But what it's done for me since then, I wouldn't change anything, man. I don't care. So yeah, nice. I love what I do. Yeah, it gave me the freedom to get into like the commentating, announcing, judging, and reffing and stuff like that. So yeah, I loved it. That was my first and only big boy choice of like my 30s, I think.
Well, that's pretty cool too, because you got the experience of training out of state for a little bit, teaching out of state, and obviously.
Yeah, I got that gig in it. Yeah, it opened up doors for me. I got a lot of offers like across the country. I actually got like a few offers out in California for gyms out there, and like there was one that was a dream job, and I was like, they bought me a ticket to fly out there, and they pulled the interview out, or like like from underneath me, saying like, hey man, like I know like you've already been out here and we've discussed before, but we're gonna go with this local guy just to build a simpler, smaller program and focus it more on kids instead of fighters now. And like that was soul crushing. And so then when like when the Florida thing came up, I just went, all right, I'm fucking out of here. So because I once again saw like, oh, I got to make money again, and I just thought the only thing left me to do was open a gym, which I don't want to do. So when I saw Orlando, I was like, you know what? It's an active fight scene, and I know how to make money in a gym like that, so I'll just do that. But at the same time, I realized like, oh, it also kind of kills the life out of it. So being in Florida also helped me realize like, oh, I'm a better coach than I thought. Like I showed up at fights down there, and I knew a lot of coaches, and my students from Florida were going, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, oh, what's up? I'm just Trevor, and I'm here to make you guys beat people now. And yeah, like it opened up doors for me, like the going to Florida, training out of state, and it got me that freedom to start training people out of state more often. Like for example, how I used to help you, Rob, for your fight in Germany. Yeah. Where it's like it's put me in communication with guys in like South Carolina, Virginia, where I help guys to fight camps with the same thing. So yeah, man, I loved it.
Yeah, because I know we were constantly talking about it. Like, oh shit, what do I need to do? And you helped me out. Then for that
everything
fight.
just went perfect. I watched it. I went, dude, you just did everything. Like, and it happened in like a minute and a half. And I was like, oh, yeah, I thought it was going to go like 7 or 8 minutes. But you're like, nope, I can get done in a minute and a half. Wow.
I had shit to do, man. I had to get out of there.
I was going to say the same thing. Rob was like, I got shit to do.
Yeah. Rob, how long was that fight?
It's like a minute 40 something, I think.
It was. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, shit. Yeah, that was so funny. I remember watching, I was like, that's exactly what I talked about. Yeah, man, that's my favorite thing about coaching. Like, doing chants just helped me kind of find my identity as a coach. I feel like a lot of people forget an important thing about, not only being a fighter, if you become a coach, is finding your identity in that. I mean, as long as you've known me, Rob, like Trevor the coach is not Trevor the drunk 19-year-old meeting Chris Bright just slamming a bottle at Captain Morgan going, I can be a fighter. And I'm just like pouring it on myself, It's like, things change.
Yeah, that's actually really frightening to think that was when you and I met. It was holy shit, 17 years ago.
I know.
It wasn't, and you know what? It wasn't even fight shit either. It was
it wasn't. It was like a bowling class or something.
Yeah, Wake Tech.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Bowling class at Wake Tech, you guys.
Yeah,
yeah. I decided to use my money. I was going to save up for like going to Thailand or something. I was like, I guess I'll listen to my mom try to go to college. So I signed up for fucking bowling classes instead and met Rob.
I needed a PE elective. I'm like, what was it? There wasn't much to offer for PE at the time at Wake Tech. And I'm like, bowling, that fucking counts. Hell yeah. You tell me I get to bowl like 3 days a week right down the road? Of course.
So much fun.
I couldn't even imagine the shenanigans of you guys like 17 years ago.
I feel like we were pretty
there. That face explains it all. Both you guys made the same face.
I feel like we were pretty adjusted back then, but
for the most part, I mean, I think the first real interaction we had outside of it, because I was waiting, because I was right out of high school doing the college thing, and I was like, actually, no, that was a few years. No, it wasn't. No, it was in 17. It was like 16, because I remember there was like a year or two after that, after I graduated high school, and I was staying outside the bowling alley, and Trevor was there. He's like, hey, you want to see me do a burnout in this truck? I'm like, okay.
And
he just like, and it's the Buffalo Lanes and off of 401, isn't it?
Yeah, right by Wake Tech. Yeah,
which is like the only dry bowling alley known to man.
That pissed me off. Yeah.
No booze, no nothing. Like very like we're here to have a family. Like
it was very Bible Belt of them.
Yeah, and Trevor's like just peeling out in the fucking parking lot. Like as class ends, I'm like,
yeah. I was like, all right, fair enough. Yeah. You're like, I'll never know that guy 16 years from now.
Yeah. And then was it going to Pantana Bob's occasionally on Thursdays for $5 all you can drink beer night?
Oh no, we used to run into Stan Chambers there, the old wrestling coach. Yeah. No, and, no, it was pretty bad. I remember it. No, there was a lot of blackouts.
I just remember. Not you, but like I think I inadvertently pissed off the entire line that was waiting to get in to go through the door, because I'm like, I think I texted you or whatever, like, hey, I'm in line, and you just walk out. You're like, Rob, come here, and like bouncers like, he's good, and he's just like,
that's right. That's right.
I was like, what the fuck, like,
dude? Yeah, because there's a line around the building, and people were just like, oh, Trevor, yeah, go on in. Luckily, I kind of have that pull from being a knucklehead with like the bouncers and stuff like that around here. Like my friends that are comedians, we go bar hopping. They go, oh, dude, there's a line. I'm like, ah. And they're like, oh, hey, Trevor. I'm like, hey, guys. And I just go stumbling in. No, yeah. I feel like if you and I didn't know how to beat the hell out of people, we would have been way worse. Oh, wait, dogs.
Yeah, it would have ended badly a few times.
Like we knew well enough to sit back and see when a bad situation was getting worse. I feel like that's the one good thing we had. Yeah, we're both fairly level-headed about that.
Never really got into bar fights, man. That's kind of something I'm proud of.
I didn't, but like my older brother and I used to. that was a different outlook from him.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah,
understandable.
That was a different group.
So speaking of running around with stand-up comedians, that's something you've been doing for how long now?
A little over a year now.
So how'd you get into that,
man? It's so weird. Even when I was in my early 20s, people would go, why the fuck are you trying to like fight? Why don't you go be a comedian? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's way easier to get punched in the face and go do that, I think. And then longtime fan of stand-up comedy, just never saw myself doing it. Brian Callen, when I got to hold mitts for Brian Callen, he convinced me, or I kind of saw that same light of, oh, I do martial arts to just be me, where he does stand-up comedy to just 100% be him. And I'm like, oh, it's just another outlet almost. I just like the actual performing side of comedy, I just never looked at. I just thought like you have to go on stage and be funny. And I'm like, I don't know how to go on stage and be funny, but that's also the whole point of comedy, like fighting. And when I saw that it's just an outlet to just be more of you, I decided to give it a shot. I started going to more open mics and looking at it. And I just tossed around my head for a bit until one night after an open mic, I saw a guy, Sam Mazzani. He had gotten way better. And I just walked up to him and went, hey, dude, I remember you from a couple years ago and you sucked. How'd you get funny? And I'm like, I think I had like a swollen nose from sparring. Like I was wearing my IKF hoodie and like workout pants. And he was like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, you want to learn how to box? I'll trade you. Show me how to write and I'll show you how to box. And then a week later, he called me a pussy to go do it. He was like, hey, don't be a pussy. Go do it. And I was like, fine. And
That's how you get it.
That was it. I was like almost blackout drunk. It was a blast. Yeah. But no, it was just kind of, I don't know, you know the feeling before bungee jumping, like right before you jump, like that do, don't, or maybe any kind of like dumb activity.
Yeah, dumb activity. Like, I've never done bungee jumping.
Like any kind of like, well, we know like a dumb activity kind of feels like.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I put that seed in my head that I should try it, I was like, I need to feel something really dumb again. Like I miss doing something a little dumb and it's still not reckless even. It's amazing how many people respect going up on stand-up comedy. So once I saw it, it's like fighting, where it's like people respect you for doing something so dumb. I went, I'm really good at doing dumb stuff. So yeah, jumped into it. I still suck. I'm sometimes funny, but I love the process of it. Yeah, I love making people laugh at my own stupidity. So I dig it. Yeah, I gotta get you guys out to a show one night.
Yeah, I want to come check it out for sure.
Yeah, same.
I saw
now that I'm like hosting shows and putting on shows for it. Oh man, I can't wait for this quarantine to be over.
Yeah, I saw Chris D'Elia was on Joe Rogan's podcast not long ago, and he's one of my favorite comedians. I think that guy is just hilarious. I can always appreciate different delivery styles, and one of the things he talked about was that I guess when he got better, when he kind of turned the corner on comedy, was when he realized it was really just about the less you give a fuck about what people think about you, the more talented you'll get in terms of accessing your material. And so I can see why you'd be really good at that, because you give zero fucks about what people think. That is the one thing about Trevor Hayes that defines Trevor Hayes.
Thank you.
So
that's been the one most helpful thing for comedy. I remember there was an open mic before I went up and I was at Good Nights and I saw this lady go up on stage and go, oh no, fuck, I can't do this. And when I sat back, I saw that, I went, I could never be that bad. It's like when we watch someone fight, before we used to fight, we'd watch fights, we'd be like, I wouldn't get knocked out like that. And then we get knocked out like that and shit happens. But like, I saw that lady go up in an open mic and she just walked off. I went, there's no fucking way it would be that bad for me. And yeah, like the giving no fucks. A lot of people kind of see how I bomb and they go, why do you enjoy that so much? And I'm like, it's like going to a smoker. You're supposed to get beat up a little bit. It's not a fight, man. Like, a lot of people have like that little bit of fear and it creates a little bit of doubt. And I'm like, it's not a big deal. Just go up, say something. If you're not funny, you're not funny. You're not supposed to be funny your first 5 years. It's like fighting. How much do you suck your first 5 years?
Yeah.
You suck the whole dick. Like, that's what it is. That's how much you suck. Like, that's how much you suck, the whole dick, all right? And it's just like comedy. Like, it's when you start, you're supposed to suck. And I enjoy that process of being really, really bad at something again. But I can be way more reckless with comedy than I ever was with fighting. So that's where that fun. Yeah, like my older brother saw me. He was like, so you did like 3 open mics in one night. And I was like, yeah, I did like 7 in the whole weekend. And he went, you've done like 3 smokers in one weekend, haven't you? And I was like, yeah. And he went, oh, okay, that makes sense now. And I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, like it does now. It just feels like going to smokers, just running around like show to show, man. And then the behind the scenes of it is the actual writing, putting thought to paper. I'm very good at explaining things, but writing stuff down and explaining stuff on paper and like memorizing stuff like that, that's my favorite challenge. Yeah, like I've been making a big challenge to memorize stuff to go up. and haven't gotten to like that freestyle point yet because that just takes time. So, but yeah, it's I love it, man. Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show too. I mean, whether we're talking about, a big part of our lives, three of us obviously is martial arts, be it jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. It's a huge part of our lives. And you look at how the ideas and concepts about progress in that world are so similar to other worlds. What comedy, for example, you've got to put in the time, and you have to embrace the suck, meaning your suck, right? Like you have to be comfortable not being good at something because you don't know it.
Yep.
And that's kind of that's a huge part of the formula to improving as a human being is being willing to put yourself out there, embarrass yourself, humble yourself, suck for a little while to get good at something that you really have a passion for. And so you see that carrying directly over from your experience as a fighter and as a coach and now a comedian. And I think it's pretty cool to see that.
Oh, I'm definitely not a comedian yet. I'm still an open mic. I tell people I saw my good buddy Seth Champ not too long ago, and he was giving me props. He was like, I love the little clips you put up because I can tell there weren't many laughs, but that's the most laughs you got from your set, right? And I'm like, yeah, like that was like the best part of the bombing that I had. And he's like, good on you. He was like, just let me know next time you have a thing going on. I went, Seth, the equivalent of my comedy right now is if I'm a 2-stripe white belt trying to hype up a super fight in someone's backyard. Like it's like that's the equivalent of my comedy right now. It's like everyone in jiu-jitsu knows that one white belt. It's like, I want a super fight for X Extreme mat finishers 36 in someone's basement. Like that's the equivalent of how good my comedy is right now. Like it's my comedy is like I don't know, Martinsville, Virginia MMA bad. I don't know.
Fuck.
Oh, that's bad.
Fuck.
Please don't shoot me, Martinsville.
The whole city of Martinsville is coming for Trevor Hayes.
That's our one thing in our middle school brawls. Ah!
I could wake up and there's like 5,000 people in your parking lot or your fucking driveway just waiting for you. Hey, heard what you said.
5 people.
They'll just send one. Don't you guys know there's a Gracie out there?
There's a Bob. Fucking Bob.
Bob Gracie.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
He is a nice guy.
Yeah, I like Bob a lot.
Yeah. I remember the one time I was working as a police officer. I won't name my current agency because I'm not supposed to, but I can talk about my previous agency all I want to. I used to work for Danville Police Department, and I was working security at one of the MMA events at Danville Destruction. And or was it Danville Demolition? I can't remember what it was. Something.
It was Danville Destruction.
Destruction. Danville something. Danville, yeah. And I was working up there. Of course, I was training with Team Rock back then, and so the Quasis and that whole crew. Which I got nothing but love and respect for those guys. We got to get Tommy Quasi on here sometime because that kid has a bright future. But I was at the event working security. I remember Bob Gracie somehow had a blowout in the crotch area of his pants, like his jeans completely ripped. In the middle of this, he's the promoter, and very much Trevor Hayes just gave zero fucks and just wore the holy jeans the rest of the event. But it's not even like a small hole in the
like
knee.
A whole dick was hanging out.
You could see his boxers through this giant gaping hole in his crotch. And that's Danville though. That's Danville for you. So
I used to sneak into those fights when I was younger to wrap people's. I didn't even really know how to wrap hands then, but just all the independents that would be on those cards.
Yeah.
Just dudes signing up day of or out of prison needing to get into a fight. I was be like, yo, man, throw me $20 and I'll wrap your hands. I'd make like $200, get a beer, sit in the audience, and
fucking
leave.
Genius, dude.
Why not?
It was like an hour and a half drive. I was like, yeah, I'm going to Young Life, Mom, bye, and I went to fucking Danville.
That was another one of those times that you learn too when you're an officer, when you're respected on the street, because there was a guy getting rowdy in the crowd, and I won't drop any names, I'm not going to embarrass the guy, but there was a very well-known convicted felon drug dealer. No, it wasn't you.
I was like, it was me. Well, no, the fuck it wasn't. No, I'm not a convicted drug dealer or felon. I'm sorry. Never mind.
This very well-known convicted drug dealer felon guy was in the audience. I was sitting behind him, and so I go to try to apprehend this guy and tell him to leave, and he starts bucking up to me. He's a big guy. I'll fight you. Win or lose, I'll fight you. It's fine. I lost in front of 1,000 people, got my nose broken flat against my face. I'm not really afraid to fight this loser. But the felon stands up behind him and grabs him and was like, get the fuck out. And all his boys stood up and just defended this cop. You know what I mean? I was like, Wow, I guess maybe I'm doing things the right way. If I don't
No,
know.
like people respect someone that fights. Like it kind of it closes a lot of borders for people's like outlooks on each other, and even like it kind of closes the gap of people's pasts and histories that might not match up. You know, I mean, like when you look at the three of us, we have like outstanding military member, an outstanding member of law enforcement, former member of military, and then you have me. Like, in what way would any of us be friends if it weren't for martial arts?
Bowling.
Well, yeah, bowling.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No,
There's
actually,
an alternate universe like where we're rocking mullets and like the old school Oakley like Venom shades. We're like the best like PBA bowlers. Like we're the Conor McGregors of bowling.
Yeah,
yeah,
but you were a vet. You were a vet.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was Air Force. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are like good airmen. You're good airmen.
hey,
You're a good soldier.
He
Thank
wasn't
you.
an airman though. He was gonna take that first.
You're a good airman.
I was gonna point it out. No, it's honestly though, like as much fun as we had being hooligans in a bowling class, I don't really think we started like really hardcore hanging out until we started doing martial arts.
Really martial arts together. Yeah, because we always
Yeah.
talked about it. Like we talked about it a bunch. And I think we watched like fights and like went to bars. Then it was like, and then like we started training together. You introduced me to Chris Bright. I remember that. Yeah. That dude changed my life. Thank you for that. You changed my life.
Here for y'all.
I didn't really know. I knew of Trevor, and I think I might have met you a couple times.
Yeah, we met in passing a bunch. I think.
But I mean, I didn't really know you and start training with you until after Chris Clodfelter gave you your certificate over at Champion.
Oh, we were at Leon's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the first time we met. They're like, we didn't meet. We've met, but like that's the first time we interacted. You walked up and was like, "Hey, you want to work out?" And I went, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, exactly. That was the hard call. Yeah, because at the time I was looking for a good striking coach to work with. I mean, and Leon is phenomenal. Like he's a phenomenal pad holder, but it was just a different approach. And so I knew what I was looking for in terms of aspects of my game I wanted to improve. He could help with some, but I needed another set of eyes with another set of experience to improve another. I mean, you guys know how that is. There's experts in different facets of fighting.
Oh yeah.
And so you need to kind of seek them out. When you know the elements of the fight game a little bit, you start to realize there's different pieces, and you need to go to certain people that are good at those specific areas. Just like if I want to work on takedowns, maybe my jiu-jitsu coach isn't the ideal. He knows takedowns, of course, but maybe I need to go and seek out a really high level wrestler to work with or something.
And a good coach has a friend that has that wrestling that answers that question. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, you look at a good jiu-jitsu coach, they have friends that were collegiate wrestlers. They have friends that are black belts in judo. And it's kind of like any of us. I mean, you're a brown belt. Rob, what belt are you now?
White belt.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brown belt.
yeah, you're both brown belts. I mean, like, I remember how long you were a white belt for. Like, I'm still the longest running white belt. But, like, what I love about this is, like if people have jiu-jitsu questions, I'm like, I've got friends. And it's like a good coach knows people that can fill the gaps. And like me, I don't know everything about striking, but I'll still talk to Chris Clodfelter or somebody else about like, how do I fix this part? Like, what is this?
Well, I'm always quick. I've been helping run a kickboxing program at TFTC Academy, which was intimidating to take on. I was doing it mostly to give back to the gym that gave so much to me because we had a shift in instructors, so they needed somebody to fill that gap, fill that void. And I'm far from who I would consider to be a qualified. I'm not a fight coach by any stretch of the means. I'm not a fight coach. You have to know your limitations and your identity if you're going to coach. And so
That's
one of the
things
things
about your program is that you were honest. You were just like, I'm just teaching them fundamentals, basic punches, kicks, keep the hands up. But for what that school is, it's a jiu-jitsu school, And one of the best things about jiu-jitsu for self-defense is making this a reaction and closing that space behind someone attacking you. So you're the perfect thing for that school. I thought it was great. Like, you had some good talent in there too. I love working with those guys.
Well, one of the things that I imparted on those talented individuals that maybe had interest in going into the fight game was, hey, I'll teach you the fundamentals and I'll be there the whole way to support you. But my role is going to change when it comes time for you to go into a fight camp, right? So I'm going to pass you on to somebody that has that knowledge and experience because I want you to succeed. It's not about me. It's about you and your journey. And if anything, what I'm going to do is, with the experiences I've had, is I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that you don't go through what I went through as a debut fighter, right? and not having the proper training and preparation to go in that cage the way that I did. And I paid the price for it, but I think that makes me a better coach now, because now it's
Absolutely,
like, all right,
yeah.
if you want to fight, hey, I'm all for it. I'm there for you. I'll spray water in your mouth, but we're going to have somebody else that's going to be in that ring with you, telling you how to fight, and it's going to run your fight camp, somebody that knows the game. And one of the names I pass on, obviously, is Trevor Hayes, because, you know, he's, and there's a lot of reasons behind it. It's, you've trained and worked with numerous fighters that are successful, and also you're a referee. So you know the game and the rules in and out. And that's such a huge advantage going into the ring to compete, is having somebody, you know, so that, and then other names that you've mentioned, you know, are the same names I've mentioned. So I always drop those three, and it just depends on where you live and where you want to train and where you want to fight. But I think that, you know, that's, I don't even know where we started on this. I kind of went off on a tangent, but I think it's, you know, it's good to have other resources to reach out to, and if you're a coach, to be.
We were talking about the jiu-jitsu coach that might not have like the whole game or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So being, you know, having
well-rounded, the coaches that know the rest of the answers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta have that. Gotta have that.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough. I could never stand the people that thought they knew more than they did, or they would claim to know all this. I'm always like, oh man, are you sure? You're kind of like rubbing me the wrong way. I just want to learn how to fight. Don't care how much you know. Can you show me how to fight? Like, yeah.
Well, I think where it comes back to full circle is, I mean, with the comedy bit is ego. I think ego gets a lot, right? And ego could definitely get in your way of being a successful comedian, I can imagine. I'm not a comedian, but if you're so stuck on yourself that you're not willing to put yourself out there, that's probably going to limit your progress.
Yeah. The one thing that's irritated me are local comics and comics other places that will like run a bit into the ground. Like, I hear them say it so many times, like the soul's taken out of it. Like, you can still get a few giggles, but they just do it just to save their ass to get a few giggles. And like, then they're happy about it. And I go, man, every time I go up, I try to do something new every week or every 2 weeks. Yeah. Just to get like reps in. That's it. I'm just learning a couple different jabs right now is the way I break it down to people. And people have to realize don't focus on what got you the laugh. Like, keep that, but focus on what didn't get the laugh. And it even comes down to like knowing how to read a reaction. Like, you can throw a punch, but like if it doesn't do anything to a person, figure out until it works. You know, it's like you can have a punchline that if you look at the audience, they go, they acknowledge it. Okay, where can I put this so it becomes a laugh? Like, where can I put this right hand so it's a knockout? It might not be a cross. You might have one hell of a fucking uppercut though.
Well, I can see there being some feints thrown there too. Maybe make a comment that elicits a limited response.
Well, I even tell people, like, with stand-up comedy, it's just you're learning how to speak to an audience. So you can't it's not just learning how to talk, it's learning how to speak. And there's a difference even in like how you carry yourself on stage, filling in gaps between bits. Most open mics are 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. You know, and like when you look at an amateur fight, there's not much time to work. 6 minutes? Fuck, that flies by for kickboxing and boxing, you know? So 3 to 4 minutes for a bit, that flies by, because everyone looks at that hour-long goal kind of thing, where I go, okay, if I have one laugh in a 3-minute bit, I'm okay with that. How do I tell a story in between that bit and the next bit? How do I how do I chamber these combinations together? Right. Like, my punchline is set up, feint, knockout, or not even a knockout, but it's a giggle. So then I weave it to the next one. Okay, jab, feint, ooh, punchline, big laugh. That big laugh sometimes come after 6 minutes, not always 3. So too many guys and fighters try to get the job done too soon instead of learning how to play out the whole bit or play out the whole fight. Too many people rush stuff. Brendan Schaub, it's funny. I've become a fan of his comedy only because he bombed so bad with his special. Like, it wasn't even a bombing. It was just, that's how you sound for an hour after you've done it for 5 years. Mm. And he said, he was like, man, I wish I had waited another 5 years until I did an hour-long special. Like, everyone talks about wanting to be the world champ off the bat, but it takes 10 years to be the champ. Yeah. You forgot, like, Mike Tyson, yeah, he was a natural. That was still, like, close to 10 years from his first lesson until he was champion of the world. Yeah, because
he started when he was, like, 12, wasn't it? 12, 13?
And he was still, like, he was, like, world champ, like, before he was 21 or something like that. But still, like, cool. He is just that much of a freak of nature that his window went from 10 years to like 8.
Yeah,
like,
he also.
That's how it is.
I was going to say he also compressed a shitload of training into that short time, though. So it wasn't like he was like, I'm going to go to the gym today for an hour. It's like
he knew how to fill the time in between, where he talks about in between sessions, I would watch 4 hours of fights. You go, oh, you're a psychopath. Like, I get it. And that's where like the time for your writing comes in, like rewriting bits. Like, I can't tell you how many times, just like a good example is like kicking drills. Like with you, Randy, when I showed you, like, put a piece of tape down, learn how to open your foot, right? Like, I've done it with you. I do it with everybody. And people go, oh, fuck, that's simple. But like that simple rep makes the kick so much easier.
Yeah.
So it's just like a bit. One thing that helps is like you can like take the bit, write it out. And then the next page, rewrite it. And you'll do something a little bit differently and you'll feel a different cadence. Just like when you open that foot. It's just that it takes a little bit longer to write a page out than it does to open your foot. So people like to not do that extra shit in between, man. Like it's all about that little fundamental in between, man.
You wonder how many hours those high-level comedians put into their work.
Yeah.
Like you look at, I mean, I think Joe Rogan, he's been known for years, but I feel like his last couple specials have really blown up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he talks about he's coming up on that 30-year mark.
That's crazy, man.
And he lucked out, you know, at 21, he got his first TV gig. So he was able to afford a lifestyle that allowed him to put a lot of time into comedy early on, if that makes sense. So, you know.
And you know, when you look at like Chris D'Elia or, you know, just name any of the big names right now currently. They've been around the scene for years before they got to where they're at right now. And their name, you'll hear their name floating around, and then you still see these guys going to really small comedy clubs when they're developing new material.
Their time in between, like you see these big guys come through Good Nights in the Raleigh Improv and guess what they still do in their free time? They go to open mics.
Yeah.
Like you still see a good pro boxer is still hitting jabs in the bag next to the amateurs.
Yeah.
Like that's how it works, man. Yeah.
And you know, it's unfortunate too because you know people only see
the end result.
Yeah, they see the end result. And I mean, even if you look at somebody like Joe Rogan were to go to Raleigh Improv tomorrow and perform, and it was the worst performance of his life, he would still get more laughs. You know,
that's because the people know what's coming almost. Like one big thing with comedy is when you develop a fan base, you get more laughs and the audience knows who you are.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like understanding the proper first punch to throw in a fight. Where if you go to an open mic, you have to get the audience to know you in 45 seconds. And then you've got 2 minutes, 15 seconds to actually tell a joke. It's like you can't go out and just get your first punch be a knockout.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Perfect world, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You know, it's kind of the same thing. You always, like you said, you just suck so bad in the beginning, and I think kind of it's cool because with the way you're describing stand-up comedy, doing, you know, starting in the beginning, being terrible, you at least get that feedback right in the beginning where like in jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai or boxing or whatever, you also get that immediate feedback where you're like, yeah, I'm not half bad. Then you get kicked right in the face and you fucking fall over. Like, maybe I'm not.
I tell people my immediate feedback is so much easier to deal with than an empty room. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to an empty fucking room. Like, good Lord. Like, it sounds crazy, but it's like we all do it sometimes. It's just like, oh, you have an issue like with people not laughing at you? Fuck, man, do martial arts. People laugh at you for the wrong reason. Like, oh, you got dropped with a body shot. People laugh at you. You're like, I deserve that shit. Like,
yeah.
And it's got to be different too, because you figure if you look at martial arts or if you look at another art, like a performance art that's more comparable directly across, like singing, for example. I'm not a singer either.
Yeah.
I'm not a singer. My voice is terrible. But at least if you're a singer and you're performing, the response of the crowd isn't really as important to what you're doing because you're going to sing the song regardless, you know?
Yeah.
And so you can kind of detach from the crowd and act like you're singing to an empty room. That's probably a good feeling.
Oh, yeah.
It's comedy where you have to be concerned about the reaction from the crowd.
You have to learn how to read the reaction.
You can't ignore the crowd. You can't
Yeah. I got a funny thing about that. It's like, I know a lot of people don't know what it's like to get punched the first time they spar and stuff like that. I'm one of those people, I don't mind getting punched. So I don't mind an empty room of silence when I'm talking about bits. And there were a few times where I would just walk up with my notebook and open it right up, just look at the line and just read it into the microphone and then look up. And it's dead quiet. But you'd still see some people in the audience going, oh, and I'm like, oh, okay, that still kind of works. I'm literally just reading it off the page.
Yeah.
Now, how do I learn it? How do I present this? So I'll take and I'll still, I still suck. So like, I'm just now memorizing like 5 minutes of material to like go off of.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll still do that because if you can just read it for what it is and garner a reaction, okay, how do I turn this into a bit now? And that's what I like about it, because to me, dude, bombing is not that bad. And just hanging out, man. It's just another night just hanging out in a locker room post-fight night or post-bad sparring session is worse than bombing on stage, man. Like, I know it's like be the only guy losing on the wrestling team. Like, I'm just like, man, the locker room sucks after that.
Have you had any hecklers yet?
Yeah, I usually shut them down pretty good.
Cyril, get off the stage and push your face in.
Actually, a lot of the people that introduced me, like my friends that know, I've got like a few people that have trained for me and a few students that have done do comedy now, and they'll go, "Hey, quick heads up, this is my former Muay Thai coach, Trevor Hayes," and people are like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, sorry, but no, like a few people said one of my best things was being comfortable, staying in the pocket, and crowd work from the get-go, because I just don't have an issue talking to the crowd. When like you don't even have to like fire an insult back at a heckler. It's just like being a bouncer. You just have to let that person know that you don't matter to them. Like, that's it. Like, I just tell people like, you're just last place in gym class or something like that. Like, I've said that. I don't know. An asshole. I think I told a guy, you look like last place in gym class, so be quiet. And like, those are my usual comebacks. Just like, I'm like, that's the only way I know how to snap back at someone. But
I figured you'd be pretty good at handling hecklers, though, because I feel like, because you are you, and people that don't know you.
The more confident you are, the less you'll get a heckler to come at you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like assholes pick on people that look like they could be fucked with. And so if you come on stage and you're just still like, you could be bombing, but you could be just delivering with confidence and not giving a fuck, and you will not get heckled. If you are losing your shit and you look scared, then that drunk asshole whose greatest achievement was that touchdown freshman year of high school is going to go, I'm going to pick on that boy. And you might get a heckler from that. But it's just like being a bouncer. It's just all about how you present yourself.
Yeah, I compare that to new officers too. When I'm training new officers, a lot of times they have that deer in headlights look on their face when they're trying to interview somebody, and they immediately get oh, you must be new, and they get, but
I've said that I'm not gonna lie, I've said that to cops. I'm like, use your words, you can slow down. It's okay, officer.
The best insult I ever saw a new officer get, and even I chuckled. I'm not supposed to chuckle at that, but I thought it was funny as shit. Was when somebody called this guy in Virginia a flashlight cop. And I fucking lost it. I thought that was great. I was like, man, he just called you a security guard. You didn't do anything.
I love that.
But yeah, no, I mean, I figure it's probably the same thing though. People read that in your body language.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured you'd be good dealing with hecklers because, like I was saying, you being you, and the people that are listening that don't know you, it's gonna be hard to kind of quantify this. But you're just kind of a goofball by nature.
Yeah, I can't help it. I don't
really good just in general, just being you and representing who you are. And so you catch criticism sometimes from people in public that don't know you, and you're goofing around. And you're always quick with the witty comebacks. Like it's kind of just
my witty comebacks. If I do say anything, it's just like off the top of my head. People go, "How do you do that?" And I'm going, "I've had people talking shit to me my whole life. Like it's just you have to have it right there, man." Yeah.
Is that
like, it's just like those people? It's like that immediate throw a punch back response. That's all dealing with crowd work is. Yeah. Just be ready, boom, like fire right back.
Is that kind of how you define your delivery style at the moment? Is kind of like self-disparaging and quick humor, like witty comebacks? Or
I have a few quick, like everything is very like, as you guys know me, I can be very self-deprecating. I hate saying anything nice about but I've always like people like, you can't say that. I'm like, you can, because like I know myself well, and I like to just poke fun at myself. And a lot of the material I've worked on, it's actually not even like childhood stuff yet. It's more recent, just poking fun at like who I was in my 20s. Mm-hmm. It kind of helped me just get kind of past who I was in my 20s, like where I make fun of like my old like drug habits and stuff like that. And like one of my favorite, like one bit I have the best response with is like where I compare doing cocaine to like how Gordon Ramsay looks at food. like I inspect it angrily, like the later the night goes on. And I go through like different levels of Gordon Ramsay looking at food, and people go, wow, like you do good with that. And I'm like, because it's very personal, because I've been cocaine Gordon Ramsay for most of my 20s, man. Like, and I do it from like, I make from like old party habits. So I'm just, I'm still playing with what I like to do. I like mixing in a little bit of punchline, a little bit of a story. So I could tell a story for a minute to try and end a punchline. And it all kind of just, I'm learning how to put combinations together. I'm learning how to like have the same like ending and or beginning and ending, and like changing out the middle, you know? So it's like there's between firing a jab and a cross, like you go jab, slip, cross. I'm learning how to put little, I'm getting a bit looser. I can like float a bit more when doing it. So it's still, it's usually a bit darker stuff, because I like that. Everyone, I'm physically goofy. On stage, you're kind of just stuck behind a mic, so I can walk around a little bit. So I actually get to project more of like my physical goofiness. Whenever, if you guys see me walking around, I'm very just on stage. I'm just behind the mic, so I just like to take that and I project that more like vocally to the crowd. It's weird, but like I just scream at the fucking audience. That's about it. I just yell. I yell a lot. I'm loud, obnoxious. Yeah.
I kind of like the lean that you do. I've seen pictures and videos like this weird.
Oh, when I get into the audience, yeah.
Yeah.
I've realized like that's. Oh, or you mean the power stance where I go sideways?
Power stance.
The power stance. Yeah. I bust out the power stance. So I will do like, I like doing that because it's just goofy and awkward, and I don't know. It just creates. It almost puts me like below the audience is how I try to treat it. Like, how do I make myself feel like a fucking idiot so these people feel good about themselves? Power stance.
Or that time that you were sitting there talking to the girl that was kind of giving you feedback, and you had like your leg crossed, kind of awkward.
Oh, that was a 10-minute open mic at a nightclub. I'll leave the name out of because I'm not allowed to go back. But yeah, I'm literally just like, it was after 2 mics earlier that night. I had a 10-minute set. I'm just like talking and slurring and having a girl moment with someone in the crowd. Yeah. Nice. I really just don't like, I'm very, I just don't care when I get up. It's nice. Like some nights, if there's a bit I really like, my friends can see me a bit more focused before. It's like, we have that one day, the jiu-jitsu tournament, the one day of the fight, where like you're dialed in and you want to get up there and go. Even if you're going to fuck up, like you're ready to go. So I have a few moments like that, and I like that. But for the most part, it's kind of just being so confidently ignorant about how bad I am. Yeah.
So where are you, and kind of on the topic of kickboxing too, so people know where to find you. Obviously, we want to talk about where to find you for comedy, but also where are you coaching at now for kickboxing?
Knuckle Up Raleigh. Yeah. Knuckle Up Boxing in Raleigh. It's a friend of mine, Randy Wood, owns it. I actually used to train his younger brother as a striking coach for MMA fights. I've known Randy for a long time from the boxing scene here. Excuse me. He opened up a year ago, and he had a few local guys like George Jeffries teaching Muay Thai up there once, twice a week. Another guy, Stu, was teaching, and he brought me in just to kind of have a structured Muay Thai program. He knows me pretty well. We have that same mindset. We kind of just came up doing it our way, and we're at a point where we have eyes on us and we can make money off of it, and we're just doing it our way still. So he's like, hey, man, you know how to build a Muay Thai program. You know how to teach. Like, just do your thing and collect money. And I'm like, I like that. So, yeah.
And George Jeffrey, that's another name, man. That guy, he can throw.
Yeah. But he's I'm happy for him. He's RPD now. He loves his job. He's actually stepped away from the gym just to really focus on law enforcement. So I love that kid, though. I'm happy for him.
Oh, yeah, he's great. He used to come over to TFTC sometimes when Brian was there. And I remember watching him spar a guy that decided to go a little too hard with him because, you know, Jeffries is one of those guys that he's super talented, but he can control it. And he's a great sparring partner if you want to work with somebody. And he'll kind of, you know, meet you at your level of contact. I mean, he's one of those guys. If you want to go,
he was like 17 or 18 going toe to toe with Tim Kennedy. I remember that.
Yeah,
he was that guy. Yeah,
he is just. I mean, he's insanely talented. But
oh yeah,
I can't remember who the guy was, but the guy decided to go a little too hard with Jeffries, and he gave him a couple chances to kind of dial it back. And then finally, he was just like, all right, fuck it.
Yeah, I've only like float sparred. I'm like, man, I know you can kill me. Can we just play around and have some fun, dude? It's not a fight, for God's sake.
Well,
I know my place.
he ended up putting the guy down with a pretty mean body shot. And, you know, Brian was watching the whole time and saw the whole thing develop. So he didn't really, he's like, okay.
He was like, all right, well, I mean, Brian's put people
yeah.
through walls. I mean,
Yeah.
Brian's not the best person to judge sparring when someone turns it up.
No, but it was, I mean, he's just Jeffries is a class act. I was real happy when he got on with RPD. He had sent me some messages asking for some advice on getting on there. And, you know, another guy that, like we're talking about, you know, the martial artists in us, it makes us go after things in life in other areas with that same veracity. So it's pretty cool to see him succeeding the way he's succeeding in RPD. Plus he's good looking. He's a good looking guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've listened. He is a handsome man. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to make him like the face of the program, and I just teach. You know, that was it.
You put him on the pamphlets, and then women show up and they feel like they're getting catfished.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, hey guys, I'm Trevor.
Sorry, this is peak athletic performance right here. Sarah, you have a dad bod, and I can throw head kicks. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Your boyfriend fight? No.
Yep. He ain't gonna be able to walk here in a bit either if I'm done. So, all right. So, Trevor, before we end this show, as usual, it's been an awesome time chatting with you. And
It's been great catching up with you.
I didn't realize it's been this long. So, like, I was like, holy shit, that was quick.
Yeah.
Like Randy said, we know where you're at in Muay Thai doing it Knuckle Up. Where can we find you for comedy?
So I now run when bars open back up. I'll be back to doing my show at the Davie Raleigh. So I'll be doing it every now and then. Sunday showcase where I have a few mic spots and a few more comics to showcase. It's fun to do. I love drawing a crowd for that. I don't even go up for my own show. Then I'll be doing open mics there on Mondays. Mainly, you can find me Good Nights, the Outpost. There's open mics popping up everything's shut down right now. Fingers crossed, if the boxing gym opens up before the bars, you're going to see some like roast battles and stuff like that out of the gym. So,
that'd be awesome.
We're trying to think about how to do some open mics and how to do some like comedy and rap roast battles like inside the ring at Knuckle Up. So
that's cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, man, I miss it. Like I'm so bad at it, but I love it. Yeah, I can't wait to get back up there. And if you're on Instagram, Trev the Punching Bag. I also have a YouTube channel, Trev the Punching Bag. Just started that before this whole thing started. So once this is over, I'll be putting training content and goofy videos and sketches on there. So that's been fun to do. Yeah.
Is that you still doing Just a Tip?
Yeah, it'll be Just a Tip. Yeah, my self-loathing like intro videos and all that stuff. Yeah.
You could do like a subsidiary program at Knuckle Up called Knuckle Deep.
All right, this is a 1-knuckle technique. This is going to be a 3-knuckle technique. That's horrible. I might use it. Yeah.
Do it. Fuck.
Yeah.
Let's be dirty about it. I love it.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm ready to get back at it, man. This quarantine is really just kind of puts like that. If you go to jail, it makes sense while you're in jail. You messed up. Like right now, we're just like stuck doing nothing because a lot of people don't want to take care of their health. Like whatever. Like, yeah. I'm just ready to do hood rat things with my hood rat friends. That's it.
Yeah, same.
There's no boogaloo happening, so we're all just
we're just fucking off, just hanging out.
Now we're like, oh, there's really nothing happening now. Can we just get back to work? There's no boogaloo. Fuck. Okay, come on.
Yeah, we're done, man.
Yeah, we're done here. Come on, put the vest away.
I'm ready.
You see that today, Randy? Right. Okay. Before we go, can we bring this up, Randy?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, Randy. What was going on at the governor's mansion today in Raleigh? Did you see that?
With
weren't there armed protesters with vests and they're like attacking the gate, or was that someone being too sensitive about it on Facebook?
There was some stuff. There's some hillbilly militia going on over there. I don't know.
That's what I thought. Okay.
You know, it's my thing is on it. You know, we as law enforcement have discretion, and I wish officers would utilize that discretion when it comes to certain things going on right now with social distancing. Which, by the way, I'm not calling it social distancing officially anymore. I'm going back to my defensive tactics. I'm calling it distance management. But regardless.
Nice.
You know, we gotta use discretion, right? But at the same time, you have these extremes in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the far left and the far right that are just fucking it up for everybody in between. And you've got these guys, these alt-right guys wearing outdated BDUs, going up there, standing with their stupid ass rifles that have a bunch of unnecessary tactical shit on there they probably don't know how to fucking use, don't even have bad.
Bob, get your airsoft friends under control.
My bad. I'll take care of it.
It's just like, guys, come on, man. Like this, I get it. Maybe at the beginning they needed to take the precautions they needed to take before we, so we could learn about this virus and what the deal with it was, because you don't want to go at it complacent. Like my dad always told me, complacency kills. You don't want to go at it soft and then it devastates us. But at this point, it's pretty clear it's not going to do that. So, so now you kind of dial it back and you deal with it and you go back to normal, but with some precautions, because you don't want to just open the floodgates. Because I'm telling you, what I'm worried about is what's going to happen when shit does go back to normal. If they just
you need to trickle these people back out into public right now. I mean, there's people like, I'm just itching to get hit in the face. I'm not itching to go like run down Glenwood on an 8-ball just fucking streaking.
Well, but that's the type of shit.
I might, but
that's the type of shit that's going to happen. You're going to have people going fucking ballistic, right?
I was going to ask, like, have you noticed anything, like any changes around, or have you heard anything in the area of like what's this been doing for crime, or like anything, like any positives you can see from the law enforcement, or like? I mean, I heard like all over, like crimes are down, or
yeah. I mean, we've had issues with a lot more like vandalism, spray painting, car break-ins, because people are dumb and leave their car doors unlocked. For God's sakes, if you listen to this shit, lock your stuff. I mean,
and don't leave your gun in your car either.
That's too. I mean, I've literally been involved in a shooting where the gun that the guy used against us came out of a car he broke into. Like, come on, people. Lock your shit. Keep your guns in the house. You know what I mean? But with that being said, no, it's actually been really quiet at work.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Domestics went up a little bit for a little time frame, because I mean, let's face it, we love our significant others, but we want to pull our hair out sometimes when we can't get away from them. And so, and not having my outlet of jiu-jitsu, I even feel myself getting more irritated and pissed off, right? But no, it's been low key, and I'm afraid that when we go back, it's going to be really bad, at least for a month or so, because you're going to have people that I thought people were getting their drinking out of their system at home. I mean, you're on like a little quasi vacation. But
I had to stop drinking at home, man. That shit was like, that lets the demons play.
But that people are going to go out to the bars and get fucked up.
Oh yeah.
So Uber, people, take a fucking Uber. So anyway.
Please. Yeah. What about you, Rob? How's everything you're by Fayetteville now, right?
Yeah, Fayetteville area.
Yeah. Everything low key, any kind of like crazy extra helicopters in the sky, you're hanging out with UFOs. Like, what's up, man?
No,
it's like UFOs, and everyone's like, all right, yeah, but Corona. I'm like, but UFOs, man. Like, what's going on?
Driving to the Walmart's like living Mad Max Fury Road. I've seen people just completely forget how to fucking act to each other. I was I was coming back. I told Chelsea when I got home, I'm like, shit's gonna get bad. Like, we're not even in lockdown and people are losing their fucking minds. This is like March, near the end of March. So I come out of the Walmart and I make a left and I start heading back home. And this BMW SUV pulls up, gets next to this one car, swerves in front of him, hits the brakes, slams on him. The other guy like, oh shit, let me get out of the way. And she's blocking this dude in the whole way. He finally gets around her. She pulls up next to him and fucking cuts the wheel hard as shit, like she's going to ram him off the road. Not like a little swerve, like into his lane.
Oh, goddamn.
And like comes back. And I'm like, I cannot believe this shit. Like, this is just coming out of a Walmart.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. Like, people are just extra oblivious behind the wheel right now. It's unreal. Yeah. North Hills is just now starting to get some traffic again during the daytime. I'm actually excited to see traffic again. Yeah.
Yeah, like driving to work's easy as shit now. Just legitimately nobody's on the road.
Yeah, I'm ready to be back to living in downtown Raleigh and just walk to the gym every day like I was.
Soon enough.
Yeah, I'm fingers crossed, ready for it to start up. Yeah.
Give us some time soon. I feel like a few weeks.
Yeah, they said that they're going to start loosening up restrictions as of next week. So we're in that final phase, I think, thankfully.
Yeah, everyone's still talking about Corona numbers, and I'm like, can we just talk about getting back to work? Like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to be super responsible. I'm going to go out and get so fucking hammered and just do whatever. I'm just kidding. Or am I? Who knows? We'll find out in a couple weeks on the news.
I don't know, yeah. I'm saying right now, it's like, I'm going to keep it pretty low-key. As soon as it touches my lips, I might just go insane. I don't know.
Like Frank the Tank, old school.
I'll be out like in public again, be like, I forgot what this is like, and then just run off like a werewolf.
Excellent. So Trevor, once again, man, we really appreciate you coming on the show today and talking to us.
It's great catching up.
Always.
Yeah.
And Randy, you got anything for our friends and listeners before we head out?
We still want more interaction. We still want to hear from you guys and what you guys have going on, ways that you're adapting to this whole pandemic, even though it's almost over, and then how you're going to transition back. Get in touch with us. Let us know what your strategies are, because maybe I'll learn from you. And then, if you have any questions about shenanigans as it relates to comedy, you got Trevor here as a resource. So reach out, comment on this episode. And that's pretty much it. Stay healthy, stay clean, stay focused.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, another good episode of the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. I'm Rob.
I'm Trevor.
And we got Randy, I think, right?
Well, I'm here. I'm Randy.
Randy's still here.
All right. And we will catch you guys next time.